So, Joaquin Trier's Sentimental Value is a film all about a fractured family that are trying to understand each other through their art, through their art of writing, through their art of acting, and through their art of directing films. And I thought that was I think it's a very interesting aspect about how to approach this type of drama, especially with Trier trying to find something more about exploring complex feelings that families might not be as open to expressing. Because I get the feeling that this is like a problem that a lot of families have, which is that they want to speak more openly about like the grief and the love that they have and trying to address certain problems, but they don't have the right words. They don't know how to express themselves, and it just frustrates them, and they have to find an outlet. And this film is all about that the Borg family trying to find that outlet. So this Norwegian family, which has experienced, they've basically had a troubled legacy of their family just trying to connect with each other and just having a very sordid past. Like they've had run-ins with the law, they've had run-ins with neighbors, they've just struggled to express themselves in this world. And that's very much still the case with the patriarch of this family, of Gustav Borg, played by Stellan Skarsgård, who is a film director who is just kind of getting over the death of his wife and trying to reconnect with his daughters of Nora, played by Renette Reinsve, and Agnes, played by Inga Ipsdottir Lilias. I'm pretty sure I'm mispronouncing that name here, but yeah, they try to connect with each other in a way where they felt distant this whole time because Gustav has not had the best relationship with his wife. They've fought many times, they've divorced, and Gustav just took off to make films and kind of left behind his two daughters. And he's trying to get back into their life when his ex-wife dies, and he comes back to the house trying to find some way to connect. And one of the ways that he wants to do that is to set up a film that is going to be based inside their family home and the home that they've grown up with for so many years, which means a lot to them. And I actually really like the way that the film sets up this family through Nora reading about how she wrote one time about thinking about her house as a person. You know, if this house could, not so much if this house could talk, but what would this house feel like? Does it like having people inside it? What does it think of all the memories? Does it feel like the heartbreak and the anger that goes on that echoes through the many pipes in this establishment? Like, what is it? And it's essentially, it sounds like it's trying to be a little like weird and quirky, but it's mostly just Nora trying to better understand a family that doesn't want to address each other directly. They have to express themselves through art in some way. In particular, Nora expresses a lot of her complex feelings for her father on stage, and it feels like it's very hard for her just to get up there and express herself. Like we see her having stage fright, where she needs something more. She needs something to kind of like get her in line. She either begs for like either a smack from her boyfriend or some makeout. It's just something to kind of like help her breathe, help her feel alive, and get her out on the stage and express more of her feelings. Because clearly, that is where Nora feels like she can be more honest and she can be more expressive, because when she's on stage, she's staged this this scenario where she's able to scream in just rage at her father and just get out all the aggression that she has. But when she actually comes to the house and she's trying to sort through all her mother's things and she sees her father coming up, she immediately darts out the back door, like, because she does not have the words or the means to talk with her father. And even like, which is kind of sad, because like Gustav actually does try to connect with his daughters in a few different ways. Like he does try to connect with Agnes, especially since Agnes is married and has a son. So Gustav wants to connect with his grandchildren. It feels like he can instill a little bit of his filmmaking prowess and kind of do some good in his family, like actually pass something down instead of just like the trauma that this family has kept experiencing with generation after generation. Um, and just like the way that Gustav deals with trying to assemble this film, which feels like the film is meant to be about his wife, but it might be about his mother. And it might also be about his daughters, too, given the fact that it addresses suicide, which has been present. And I think there is. It sounds weird because like it feels like this is a very dark film, and it does go into a few dark places, but it also has like some surprising moments of levity. And I think that mostly comes from how Gustav tries to frame his film and how he wants to get Elle Fanning's character of Rachel Kemp to act in it and to portray the character who might be either his wife or his daughter. It's he kind of frames it as it was like his wife or his mother, and just going from there and just trying to convince Rachel that this is the house where it did all go down. It all happened with this stool, and 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 Gustav's daughters kind of joke like, wait, did she believe that? You know that stool's from IKEA, right? It's like, no, I didn't tell her that. There are some surprising moments of comedy in this film. In particular, I think probably the funniest moment is that Gustav comes to the birthday of his grandson, and he tries to gift this son the most inappropriate films. Like, he considers them very important films about learning about the world, but he gifts the son home video copies of The Piano Teacher and Irreversible, which are the most. You would not show these films to a kid. So it's like it's very absurd moments there, but it feels very in character for someone like Gustav, who does obsess over very, very important films. So I did admire that aspect of his character. So there are some very, very charming and very heartwarming moments here, as well as some very very somber and very quiet moments here, especially the scenes where Gustav is getting drunk and trying to call his daughter and trying to say like, oh, we need to talk, and like clearly his daughter doesn't want to talk because she can't find any other way to connect with him. But even when Gustav keeps pushing, it's through his art, I think, that pulls him closer to his daughters, because like one of the things he wants to try to do is get Agnes to put her son in his film in a bit of a small role. But Agnes, having realized the way that she grew up with Gustav, is like, I don't know if I want to bring him into your world. And Gustav is like, look, just look at the script. I wrote it. I think you'll agree it's pretty good, and that the kid is right for the part. And sure enough, Agnes slowly starts reading the script and is like, oh yeah, my dad was right. This is pretty good, and I think it'd actually be a really good idea. And eventually, the movie does get filmed after a bit of debate about how it should be filmed, about who should be in it, about the choices made on a narrative and a character level. And it feels like when the film actually starts, when Gustav actually gets the camera up and rolling, it feels like he's expressing something more, and that there's this comforting, multi-layered catharsis that comes out in the end, where it just really expresses the importance of trying to explore something deeper through art. And I think that Trier's direction moves along at a gentle pace that can explore the various corners and the curiosity that comes with this family. So I think just for that aspect about stressing the necessity of art as not just an expression of yourself, but a communication with others, where it feels like it's harder to communicate on just a simple level of just discussing things, and that sometimes you can say so much more through art than you could through words. And I know that sounds corny, but Trier, he really makes that work in this film. He really makes you care about these characters and want to see them find that kind of comfort that they've never been able to express before. And the fact that it comes through, either through acting or filming or writing, just how it comes out through that art is just beautiful. And it comes out in a way that's not meant to be too melodramatic or corny. It's a beautiful expression of what it means, when a piece of art means something more than just something that looks good. or just a decent piece of drama. Like it actually has to impact you in some way that goes beyond just, being a well-written film or a good-looking film. And I think Joachim Trier really makes you care about these characters and how they want to explore all of their feelings through art. So yeah, I was pretty astounded by how much I cared about all the characters in Sentimental Value, and how it just for dealing with such dark subject matter, it really does leave you in a very, very comforting spot by the end of this film. So yeah, I absolutely adored Sentimental Value.